Well, here's the Warren Bisbee bus, restored. I'm at the bus barn. I'll make a video, show you all the things in the bus barn one of these days. Old Pueblo Trolley. They ran the streetcars down University Avenue at the University of Arizona. Here's the prototype for the modern streetcars. And they donated it to Old Pueblo Trolley. It's a mock-up, but you can see what it is. Welcome to our museum, Old Pueblo Trolley. This some of the streetcars. There's a shop over here. I've done a lot of work here. I'll go over it sometime. This is a 1929 twin coach passenger bus. It's got a 6-cylinder Hercules motor on each rear axle. It's got dual clutch rods, dual accelerators, dual everything. The motors have been rebuilt. I worked on the air systems. Worked on putting this first piece of, this is called ply metal. It's thin sheet metal with plywood and then another layer. We had to make the curve, and it's an offset compound curve going up. These had headlights built to restore. Well, there they are. There's the headlights a man made, fabricated from scratch. I rebuilt that door control over there. Got it working. Ran all new airlines. I looked at the schematic from 1929 and redid all the airs. Put the radiators in, put the compressors in. It's had it running. You can see the layout. There's the transmissions hooked together. I like this bus. Come here, boy. Come here, boy. Oliver. Here's the wood shop. The old coach builders in the streetcars, they had an open story up there. See that? That's one piece of metal I helped put up with the forklift. Everything's riveted together. These are all rivets, hand done, all the way around up there on the roof panel. But you see that, I call it a clear story, but that's how the coach builders build them, with like windows up there for headroom too. But for years, the coach builders left that space because that's what they're used to doing. You can see the shiny metal up there. That's the space. It doesn't have windows on this one. This one does. That clear story up there. 4th Avenue Street Fair. But the modern streetcar came, and with all the handicap rules, This is the streetcar division. They haven't been able to put the older streetcars, refurbished streetcars, back online yet. They're still working on it as far as I know. You can see these old trolleys are wood construction. There's a better view of the thing. It's a major project restoring something like this. 1911 St. Louis Car Company. So this half is kind of like the streetcar division. They had another building, but they had to move. Here's a machine shop. He's modernized the machines to have computer CNC capabilities. Fabricate a lot of parts. This one's from California. Welding shields. That V8 Oldsmobile was in a bus. They took it out and put an original 6-cylinder flathead back in, I think. I hooked up this air compressor. I did all the paneling and built the walls on to do the inside. I've done all that. Did all the air lines, repaired them. Some of the copper had been stolen. Welders. You can see the construction. They've got it X together because once you start taking it apart, it gets real flimsy. I used to live in this bus, 1952 GM bus. It was all redone as a motorhome. People donate cars. This is an all-electric bus from Phoenix. I'd love to have the batteries for my solar. They're huge. He's got a 480-volt charger. It's not hooked up yet. Suntran donates non-working buses after their lifespan. They got a bunch of them. People donate cars so they can make money by get them running and sell them. So that's a good on buying a van from them. This car has a race motor in it. Forklift. Old buses I love. There's a whole yard outside of buses. Yeah, we can take a look. Old Pueblo Trolley. I rode this chassis dragging it behind a truck. I stood up there on a bucket. There's a 1935 reel behind the van. This is a paint booth. That's one reason they got this building. It was big for all the collection. Two-sided paint booth. I'll put a shower in back there. Wait, stay. I'll go you up on the mezzanine. We can get a better view of the bus collection. I fixed all the skylights up there. This is the inside of the building. It was a blessing to be able to get a building this size to hold all the collection, be able to work on it out of the elements. That right there is a Spartan motorhome bus. And this second floor is all offices, and there's a museum down on first floor. Oliver, come here. Oliver's with me on the bus tour. Spartan. The docent was living in this bus. This bus was in a movie. The Bigamous, 1953 motion picture. I actually lived at the bus yard. This was one of my favorite buses. I wanted it for a greenhouse. It's a sightseeing bus. It's got a narrow corridor for headroom. You can walk down the middle. All the seats are out. But these buses are historic, from Tucson and Phoenix, anything Arizona like Bisbee. This is the collection. I didn't plan on making the video, but now I'm here making it. Isn't that Spartan beautiful, streamlined? I don't know what motor it's got. It's got like a 6-cylinder or something. Small bus factory, Mark Hart. He was the docent here. He makes these models out of balsa wood. He is phenomenal. He uses the actual drawings and makes scale models. There's more around here. That's his hobby. He drove for Tucson bus for years and retired. Okay, now we're getting into the museum part. There's a collection of tokens from I don't know where. There's a fare box out of an old bus or trolley. This museum's under construction. It shows the history. Herdic, it's like a horse-drawn buggy, was the first transportation. Herdic at Old Main, University of Arizona, 1897. Tucson Street Rail car number 2 on Congress, 1900. But everything's a work in progress. It's mostly volunteers. There's some trolley models. Sorry about the sun, I wasn't planning on making a perfect video. Scale models. Old Pueblo Trolley had a deal in the 90s. They laid tracks and had volunteers from the city putting up the cables, the electricity, pouring cement, putting in rails. So it's been a collaboration. There's a Tucson modern streetcar. Sorry about the sun. Here they are pouring some of the original tracks. Old Pueblo Trolley volunteers installing track in concrete on 8th Street just west of 4th Avenue. That's over by Campus Town, University of Arizona. There's a modern streetcar emerging from 4th Avenue underpass, 2013. It was 2012, they're laying the modern streetcar rails. Streetcar came from a company in Oregon, the modern streetcars. But this is just a glimpse. Like I said, I didn't plan on making a video today, but I'm here. I'm a volunteer here, done all kinds of work. Worked on the swamp coolers on the roof. There's some old bus signs. I hung these signs. I ran the copper and the gas pipe. Did this drywall work here. Make it a little bit more enclosed. Here's some more Mark's buses. We're done. I put that furnace in and ductwork, ran the vent, gas pipe. This is like a the meeting room, if they have meetings in here. It's dark. I ran that ductwork up there by myself. Steve Hazen from Hazen Properties was a big help to Old Pueblo Trolley. He has passed on since then, but A lot of this is because of him, so I'll give a shout out to Steve Hayes and his family. 1938 yellow coach, number 1204. I've driven this bus. Well, that's going to end the tour. I just wanted to show you what I'm involved in sometimes. Old Pueblo Trolley Museum. Jones and Brogan, like streetcars, are in California. They donated money, like a lot of money, to be able to get into this building. It's at the corner of 36th and 4th in South Tucson. So if you're interested in trolleys, transportation buses, streetcars, come to Old Pueblo Trolley, Tucson, Arizona, 36th and 4th.